Good morning, this is Freeze Notice Meteorologist Josh with Seneschal. I'm here this morning to kind of talk a little bit about what exactly an El Nino pattern is. And I'm also going to look at the El Nino forecast in the coming months ahead and also what the implications are for corn and soybean yields across the Midwest. Okay, so what exactly is an El Nino pattern? We hear all about it. What is it? Well, it's essentially an area of above normal sea surface temperatures in the tropical Pacific Ocean, right near the central Pacific Ocean. And this area of warm water usually has an area of semi-permanent showers and thunderstorms, very large complexes of showers and thunderstorms, which can last for months at a time. Now, what happens when you have these large thunderstorms is the atmosphere actually gets taller above these thunderstorms. And as a result, the jet stream gets forced northward in order to balance this effect of a taller atmosphere in the tropical Pacific. So what happens when the jet stream is forced north is we usually see a more active pattern with more systems moving into the central and western U.S. So that's why when El Ninos develop, we typically see more storm systems and more rainfall across the Corn Belt and also into the western United States. Now, with that said, before we look at the implications for corn and soybeans, let's look at the latest El Nino forecast. And what we can see here is that by the time we get into July, August, and September, the Climate Prediction Center is forecasting a 55% probability that we are going to be seeing El Nino conditions. Neutral, only 40%. La Nina, less than 10%. Now, this is the fourth consecutive outlook that the Climate Prediction Center has issued where they've increased the probability for El Nino conditions. And heading through the late summer into the fall, we're seeing this probability holding right around 55 to 60%, and it's likely that in the coming weeks we'll see these probabilities increased further, especially considering a lot of the warming we've seen in just the past couple of weeks. So as you can tell, obviously we're looking at a pretty good probability, pretty good chance that El Nino conditions are going to develop. Now, what does that mean for rainfall? Well, if you look at this next image here, what you can see is that during July, August, and September, we actually see an increased probability for extreme wetness across the central and western Corn Belt, and that is represented by those light blues and light greens you see in portions of Illinois and also into Iowa and Missouri. We do see an increased chance for heavy rainfall events, but as you head east and you notice Ohio, we have some yellows, oranges, even a few reds here, and this tells us that we actually see increased chances for extreme dryness during El Nino patterns. And it's interesting because when you average together all historical El Nino patterns, you see this wetter trend in the western Corn Belt, drier trend across the eastern Corn Belt. So while we always associate El Ninos with lots of rainfall, it's not necessarily a wet pattern for all of us. So with that said, generally with an El Nino pattern, we do see above normal corn and soybean yields. And this next image here is a look at the forecast for corn yields for the 2014 season. And this is county by county. We are going to have this data for the entire Corn Belt, and we also have a few other images on the report below that show the 5-year average. And what you can see here, this is the forecast for this year's yields, and we're looking at above normal yields pretty much statewide. In fact, the northern half of the state is basically above 170 bushels per acre. Now, one of the controlling factors on our yield potential is going to be the dryness we are seeing right now. We still have drought conditions across much of the state. However, if we do see this El Nino develop, that should favor increased rainfall chances, especially mid to late summer. Now, we should have more of these charts available over the coming weeks, and we should eventually have a full-fledged report coming out sometime in May that is going to talk more about the implications of the El Nino pattern and give us a good indication of county and statewide yields.